Hey guys, welcome back to my channel today. In this video, we're going to be learning how to make this very beautiful top. Okay, this is what it looks like, just exactly the way it is on the screen. If that's what you want to learn how to make, then keep watching this video till the very end. Firstly, you'll be needing your basic body's front, your bust line, your waistline, and of course your hip line, or wherever you want your blouse length to stop. But your hip, sorry. Then from there, I rule the line. This is where I want the blouse length to stop. So from your hip line, you're going to be ruling the line where you want your blouse length to stop. If you also want it to stop at your hip line, there's no problem. It's still the same procedure. So from there, I'll go ahead to cut out the excess of my waist dart, because we're about to manipulate our darts now. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do want to subscribe. Click the bell notification icon so you'll be the very first person to know when I post new videos in this channel. Okay. So now I'm opening the side bust darts so I can close the waist dart and transfer the excess to the side bust dart. Now you have to focus on your waist line. Okay, you have to focus while closing the waist dart. Your focus should be on your waistline. Do not worry if that part of the hip is overlapping. Do not worry. So I'm going ahead to do this like so, and this is what it looks like. So I'm using my tape now to hold everything down. And I haven't done that. This is what I'm having, and this is what your pattern should look like at this stage. The next thing I'm going to do is to draw my style line. So from the very point of the neckline, you'll be marking either 1.5 inches or 2 inches. Okay, 1.5 inches or 2 inches. Do not go overboard. 1.5 or 2 inches is okay. For the sake of this tutorial, I used 1.5 inch. I'm going to be connecting that line to my bust point line like so. And then I will go ahead and cut out the whole of that side dart so we can have the excess, because I'm about to transfer the dart. I'll go ahead and cut out this so we can see the excess clearly. Then I'll go ahead to transfer the dart to this style line that I drew from the neckline to the bust point. Like so. So now I'm going to use my tape to close this, okay? This is what your pattern should look like at this stage. The next thing you want to do to a line from this very tip, okay, down to your hemline, the hem of your blouse. From that very tip down to the hem of your blouse. At this very tip, please, from this tip to this tip at the hem. So I haven't done that. We'll go ahead to cut that open because we want to add fullness. So we'll go ahead to cut that open like so. So this is what your pattern is looking like right now. I will go ahead now and take a fresh pattern paper and lay it underneath so we can spread this out on a fresh pattern paper. Now, while spreading this out, you want to take note of your center front. Be sure your center front is straight, like so. That's why I'm trying to place it on this very part of the paper that is straight, so I can start spreading on the other side, you know. So I'm going to have to use my tape to hold this down. I think the very distance from this very first slash and spread to the other one should be around 6 inches. Okay, the distance should be around 6 inches, right? Because you're also going to be forming that very stuff from here that will cross over the neck. Okay, 6 inches or 5 inches, 4 inches minimum. So by the time you sew, you'll be having 2 inches because you're going to be folding it over like a belt, kind of. So 4 inches minimum. 6 inches, 3 inches might be too wide for you to use on your neck, but then 4 inches, 4.5, 5 inches, that would be okay. Now remember, I used half an inch I came in by half an inch from these both sides. Please take note of that. I came in by half an inch. It's very important. You want to do this, please. I came in by half an inch. Now, the next thing we are going to do is to take the measurement of our front neckline. You want to take the measurement of your front neckline before you slashed and spreaded. But even if you've slashed and spreaded and you not take the measurement, I'm going to show you right now what you will do. So what you're going to do is you want to take the measurement from this point all the way to this point and then add it up to this one. Whatever you get is your front neckline measurement. You're going to be imputing it into that very straight line. And after doing that, you also go ahead to take the neckline measurement of your back bodies. Okay, you also go ahead to take the neckline measurement of your back bodies. Whatever you get as the neckline measurement of your back and of your front, you add it up. It's going to be forming the length of this rope that went around the neckline. It's going to be the length of the rope that went around the neckline. So let's check mine here now. I've gone ahead to do it and everything equals 8.5 inches, I think, or 8 inches rather. Everything equals 8 inches. So I'm going ahead to check it here. My paper is not enough. I'll go ahead to add an extra pattern paper to complete it. Okay. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do well to subscribe. Turn on the bell notification icon so you'll be the very first person to know whenever I post new videos like this on this channel. Now, my length for front and back was 8 inches. I went ahead to add 1.5 inches, making it 9.5 because obviously we are going to be adding button to the back. So I made it 9.5 inches. You can decide to use 1 inch for your button allowance. There's no problem. But make sure you add something to the total neckline for front and back because you're adding button to the back. So now having done that, I'm going ahead to club up like so. And then we are going to be cutting off the excesses. So do not forget that half an inch, please. It is very important. This half I went in by on both sides. It's very important, please. Be sure you go in by half an inch. You can also decide to go in by 1 inch, but the minimum is 1 inch. Okay, your minimum to go in is 1 inch. You either use half or 1. The minimum is 1 inch, please. Make sure you do this. It is very important. It's very necessary. In fact, if you don't do this, I don't know how your belt is going to form. So make sure you do that. Very necessary. So at this point, this is what we are having right now. Please, like I'm always laying emphasis on take note of it. I even had to do it in a way that I'll remember when I'm doing the voiceover for this. Please take note of that. I'm sure you do half inch or 1 inch. That will be okay. So at this point, this is what your pattern is going to look like. And please do not click away. We are not done because we're going to be sewing this also. We are not done. There's still more to do to this pattern. Okay. Now I'm going to be getting a fresh pattern paper. All right. You want to place your center front like so. The neckline, the tip of the neckline, I'm trying to use, okay, let me use the part of the paper where the center front is plain, like it's straight. There are no rough edges. Okay, I think this side is okay. Now you want to place this very pattern. So the neckline is touching this tip, meaning the neckline has to be, the neckline is on fold, but we've added excess to the hem. We need fullness. As you can see from the thumbnail or from the one on top of the screen we're creating, it is a free top. So the neckline is there, is the same, but we've added hem to we've added fullness to the hem. It's just like you're cutting on, all right, just like you're trying to cut on bias. So do exactly this way. And then I'll go ahead to use my tape to hold all this whole thing down, right? I haven't done that now. This is what it should look like. The next thing we are going to do is to align the hemline. Now I checked the measurement of this very one, and I'm going to use that measurement to align the rest of the hemline, just like when you're cutting a flare. Okay, I'm going to use it to align the whole of the hemline, making sure that everything is in accordance, is in alignment, like the hemline is not irregular. They are the same. So I haven't done this now. I'll use my pen to join every dotted line that I marked together. And this is what it looks like. So from the very tip, as you can see, that part hand of bumpy ride is not smooth. So I'm going to be smoothing it up to join it to the center front. Okay. And this is what it's looking like right now. So I'm going to use my scissors and cut this out. And now getting to the side, I always love that very feminine curve at my waistline. I'm not a very big fan of giving it a very straight design, okay? But then I wanted to add a little fullness at the side, just a very little. So I haven't done this now. I'm still going to be covering in that, that waistline to give it that feminine look. I'm still going to be covering it just a little. And this is what I did. So I'll go ahead now and cut it out. Of course, we are going to be cutting the rest of the excesses that we do not need on this pattern, so we can have what we are working with, our actual pattern that we are working with. So at this point, this is what the whole of our pattern looks like. This is all the pattern you need to create this design. It's simple, right? So let's head straight to the sewing part of it, which is very more interesting. Now you have to fold your fabric on fold. Okay, you're folding your fabric on fold and you place this. I did not realize that I was not recording. Please do not put this like so. Do not put it, push it backwards so you have like 2 inches extra. Please let the center front not be like this. Take it backwards. You'll be having like 2 inches extra. Okay, from the center front, please push it backwards, especially so this very rope does not fall out. Please, I didn't recognize I wasn't recording. Push it backwards. You have 2 inches from the center front before your pattern. Now, I haven't done that. I'm going to have to mark my notches. Here's the center front. Here is that very space of 2 inches, 1 inch on both sides, because you're going to be sewing it over on top of the actual center front to form that pleat at the center front, okay? As you can see on the one on top of the screen. So that was why I said 2 inches. So when you open it up, you can put it 2 inches away from the actual center front. So when you sew it, it's going to be forming that pleat on the neckline, okay? And also add fullness to the hem. So now we're going to be sewing up that 2 inches. I really didn't know that I wasn't filming then. Please, I'm sorry about that, but I believe I've been able to explain. If you have any question, please do well to ask me. So the next thing now is to sew up from that very 2 inches away from the neckline to the actual neckline to form the pleat on both sides. So I'm going to have to sew that of this side right now. You guys were talking about sewing tutorial. It's a struggle to get the whole of the equipment I used to put this video together. It's actually a struggle. So please appreciate this video by liking it. So the next thing I'm also going to do now is to sew up the other side to form the pleat of the other side also. So now I'm gonna have to sew the pleats of both sides at the neckline. Exactly, this is what I mean, please. You guys, this is what I mean. Can you see that? Please, this is exactly what I mean. Because you're going to be sewing in that 2 inches on top of the actual center front neckline to form those pleats in front. All right. So now for the rope area, remember the 1/2 inch we went in by? I also marked my notch there. So you're going to be taking each of the 1/2 inch notch and place it on top of the other one. Then you're going to be sewing your rope. Now you will sew inwards by 1/2 inch also. You lift your footer and then continue sewing straight on your belt or the rope, whatever. So you're going to be sewing the ½ inch first. You lift your footer, turn it over, then sew straight the belt area. I hope you understand that, please. I'm trying my best to explain this the very right way that you guys will understand it. And if you pay keen attention, you will understand what I'm saying. So here I'm sewing the belt all the way down, like so. So same thing also, I'm going to sew the other side. So let me turn it over and show you guys. Remember, we sewed on the wrong side, so I'm going to be turning it over to show you guys. And here I've turned it over, okay? So this is what it's going to be looking like. Have you seen? Very stylish and beautiful. I'll go ahead and sew up the other side, and then I'll show you guys the end result of this very beautiful design. So I've gone ahead to sew the other side.